Hey guys, in today's video we're going to talk about how the right shoulder works in the golf swing. Hey guys, Eric here at Bethlehem Golf Club. I'm going to talk to you today about how the right shoulder works in the golf swing. Now before we dive in, I want to let you know how I can help you with your golf game. We designed CogornoGolf.com to help those of you who can't make it to in-person coaching. CogornoGolf.com is our online community where you can join myself and all of the other members trying to get better at the game of golf. Within the membership site, you get access to a ton of different things. Most importantly, you get access to our Facebook group where you can post up your swings and I'll give you personalized feedback on what your main priorities are, what drills to do, and guide you through the process of improvement. You also get access to all of our master classes, the complete member library on the site, the quick fix section, the practice section, and everything else. So I urge you guys to check out CogornoGolf.com. We'll put a link in the description down below. Now, let's talk about how the right shoulder works in the golf swing. What I want to talk about primarily here is how the right shoulder works during the downswing. The first point that I want to make here is the primary function or role of the right shoulder during the downswing is to assist us into getting into a really good impact position, create solidness of contact, distance, etc. But it's really, how does my right shoulder need to move relative to my setup position to get me into a solid impact position? Now, to explain that, I want to show you one thing here first. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take my normal setup position here, just like I normally would, normal amount of bends, handle location. And without changing my body location, I'm going to move my arms, hands, and club into what would be an impact position. So if this is my setup, my impact position would look about like this. Here's my setup. Now again, without changing anything else, this isn't reality, but just so you can get a visual here, without changing anything else, if I just move my arms and hands into my impact position, you see the difference in where this is at. Here'd be my setup. Okay, hands inside left thigh, but notice my impact position. What's changing? Well, my right wrist is going from straight forward to bent. My right arm is going from the length it is to more bent, right? So naturally my handle's more forward as I do that. Now the point of that, just changing those two pieces from setup to impact, is notice what happened to the club. The club went from on the ground to up in the air and behind the ball. So notice how if I kind of pose this impact with no body motions, the club now is about a foot or so farther behind the ball, and it came up off the ground several inches. Do you see that one more time? Here's normal, here's impact, without my body motion. So the club went back and up. Now the point is, if the club went back, I'm making up numbers now, let's say a foot and went up 4 inches, I need to do something during my swing to make up that distance. I got to get the club from back here to forward at the ball. And how do I do that specifically with my right shoulder? Well, if I need to do the opposite of those things, if the club head went up, that means my shoulder needs to go down to get it back down to the ground. If my club head went back, it means my shoulder needs to go forward to get that back to the ball. Are you with me on that? If for me to have a solid impact position in terms of my club, arms, and hands, what I need to do that is I need to make my shoulder work 2 specific ways. I need my right shoulder from where it is to move forward towards the target. That's the part that gets the club head forward and my handle forward. And I also need it to work down towards the ground via right side bend. That's what gets the club head down to the ground. And when I match those 2 pieces together, my right shoulder working down and forward, that's what gets the club head from back where it is in my impact location into a perfect impact spot. So let's talk about the first part of this. The first part of this is I said, hey, my shoulder, let's say I take my normal setup position and let's go up to the top of the backswing. My shoulder, to get into a good impact position, needs to move forward, meaning towards the target during the downswing. Now, how do I get my right shoulder to work forward towards the target during the downswing? I do that through rotation. So as I go here and I rotate my shoulders towards the target, notice my shoulder is going to move forward in space. If I want to get to that impact position where my right wrist is still bent some and my right arm is still bent some, the only way for me to get the handle forward from there is to get my right shoulder turned. Meaning, if I make a swing where my right shoulder stays back, let's say it doesn't turn forward, I can't get to the ball with a bent right arm and a bent right wrist. I can get to it. I can keep my right shoulder back if you want to do it through lateral, and I can move lateral and play a draw pattern like that, and that's okay if that's what you want to do. But for a stock neutral pattern, if I keep my right shoulder back and that stays there, how do I get to the ball? I have to throw or lengthen my right arm to get to it, and I have to lengthen my right wrist. I have to fully lengthen those things the farther back my right shoulder is. If I want to keep this bent and keep this bent, my right shoulder has to turn through. So that's part number one. If you're looking for that solid impact position with the handle forward for compression and you don't want to have excessive lateral motion, you need your right shoulder to turn. How do you start with that? I would start just by those sensations. Let me make some little half swings and feel like I get my shoulder, my right shoulder to the target sooner. Some sensations you might have are get my shoulder to the ball and pass the ball before my club head gets there. Notice that gets me wide open. Let me go ahead and do one like that. So shoulder gets to the ball before my club head gets there would be one way to start to feel that. And that just feels like my right shoulder turns through faster from the top. Now, that pairs really well with a shallow approach to the ball. If you're someone who's too steep or too far over the top, you can keep your right shoulder back and learn how to swing more from the inside and hit a draw pattern. But if you're kind of beyond that point, then not so much. So one more time, shoulder works forward. You want to have a sensation that the shoulder gets to the ball. You can do this where you take your left hand off. Shoulder gets to the ball almost before the club head in space, and just start with little half ones. Record it as always. Let's go ahead and do one more. So shoulder works through quicker from the top. So that's part one, the turn piece. Now I also said the shoulder has to go down some amount, so let's talk about that next. Okay, so if I'm looking for that solid impact position, not only do I have to go forward, I have to go down. Remember, if I just pose my hands at impact and my arm, it looks like this, right? So if I go forward, that's cool, but wait a minute, the club's still a foot off the ground. How do I get down to the ball? I get down there by my right shoulder working down or right side bend. What I want you to think about, right, in reality, to kind of separate that from here, if I just did right side bend from the top, I would look like this. I don't want that, right? I want that with my turn. So how do you feel this? I want to keep this simple. As you're doing this shoulder to the ball before the club head, your shoulders need to be tilted. You're going to feel a right side, sort of a crunch here, and your right shoulder is going to feel like it's pointed more down towards the ground. You're going to feel like your body's more bent over than normal. The more that I bend over with my body, the more I have to keep my arm bent and my wrist bent to hit the ball. For those of you looking for a solid impact position, that would be a really good thing. Okay, so how do we do that? We start with just that, little half swings. I'm gonna come through here. I'm gonna get my shoulder to the ball before the club head, but I'm also gonna do that with my shoulder feeling down towards the ground with that right side crunch as I go. Let's go ahead and hit one like that. So there's my right shoulder working forward along with the crunch. Now, of course, there's more drills and feels, but really how this process needs to work is, hey, you have the information to start hitting balls with this. You have got to record yourself. Now, if you hit balls with those feels and you hit it really solid, that's all you're looking for, great. But really want to know if we're actually doing this. You supplement this with video, see where you're actually at. Let me or a coach like me help you through the process if you want, but see where you're at. But what you should feel is improved compression. Shoulder to the ball before the club head. My shoulders are tilted. Feel a crunch here with my right side. My left side stretched out. I feel like I'm kind of looking at the target more horizontally. All of those things will help during the dash. Let's hit one more. Good, so shoulder goes through quicker from there. And that's how the shoulder works, right? Your thoughts during the downswing are, okay, my shoulder does two things for me to make this impact position work. My shoulder needs to turn, okay, and it needs to go down with right side bend. You combine those two things, the shoulder's gonna work on an angle where it's going down and forward the entire time during the downswing. So wanted to make that clear for you guys. Put this in if you're looking to get the handle more forward, compress the ball better. And as always, if you guys have any questions, leave a comment down below. Hey guys, thanks for watching today's video. If you liked the video, do us a favor, click the like button down below. Click the notification bell. Also, please subscribe if you haven't. Another reminder, we are live here on YouTube every Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Rapid Fire Golf. We'd love to see you guys there.